Yo, I'm True Gilchrist, and today we need to talk about cigarettes, because I mention cigarettes every now and then, and recently I've been talking about how I quit smoking cigarettes, and there's just a lot to unwrap around this, because I've been smoking cigarettes for a very long time. I know some people thought I quit 3 years ago when I did try to quit, so there's just a lot to go through this, and also how I quit, how I'm feeling now, everything. We're gonna go through a lot in this video and talk about exactly my situation with cigarettes and the fact that I've now quit. Now, before we get into this, we need to have a quick shout out to our sponsor of the day, Nature Boys. Yo, we're a big fan of Nature Boys here on the channel. Their flower is absolutely sick, but recently, Nate himself, the guy who runs Nature Boys, has been streaming on Twitch. He's been trying to build up his Twitch, so tonight we're going to be streaming over on Twitch with Mr. Nate, but it's going to be on my Twitch, then we're going to send everyone over onto his, so hopefully you can enjoy his stream over there. But in case you missed it, his Instagram is linked in the pinned comment down below, and along with his Twitch, so you can hit the follow button over on there and get notified every single time he does a little live stream. So yeah, big love to Nature Boys for sponsoring this video, and let's start talking about cigarettes. So my relationship with cigarettes has been weird and wild for a long time, right? Like, I first started smoking cigarettes when I was like 13, 14, and it wasn't even really like a big thing then. It was like an as and when, like, I don't know, my friends smoked cigarettes. I kind of thought it was cool. Like, you know, this is over 10 years ago when it kind of was cool to smoke cigarettes, but obviously it's not anymore. And yeah, that was kind of my thoughts on it, and I genuinely enjoyed smoking a cigarette. Like, I know a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people hate the taste, they hate the smell of it, they don't like how it makes them feel, but for me, I actually really enjoyed cigarettes. I really enjoyed the way they tasted, the way they smell. I know that might sound weird to some people, but I very much liked a cigarette. I was a cigarette enjoyer, and as I got older, I started smoking more and more cigarettes. I moved out when I was 16. I lived in a YMCA for a while. Obviously, when you're in like situations like that and living like that, you tend to smoke cigarettes. Like, I mean, most people who lived inside them YMCAs did a lot of drugs, and yeah, that's kind of where my first bit of cigarette addiction really came in, was living in YMCA at 16. That was when I really started realizing, like, I can't really stop, because, like, you know, there was like a couple days when I couldn't afford a pouch of tobacco, and I like needed a cigarette, right? Like, that was my first time ever having that. So from 2014 all the way until 2019, I was fully addicted to smoking cigarettes. Like, I would smoke like 20 a day, every day, all the way from 2014 until 2019. So that was my life. And 2019 came around, and that's when I first quit smoking tobacco. Now, this is where a lot of people who are watching this right now will probably be like, yeah, this is when I thought you stopped smoking cigarettes, my man. Because it is. I did stop smoking cigarettes then at one point. It was also when I stopped smoking my weed with tobacco, because I used to smoke my bud with tobacco sprinkled in there, and you get mad addicted to smoking your joints. Like 50% of the joints I was smoking weren't even because I wanted to smoke them, and they weren't on my own terms. They were like the nicotine making me want to smoke a joint, even though I also smoked cigarettes. Like, it was not a nice time. So now I'm addicted to smoking cigarettes, and I'm addicted to smoking joints. So yeah, 2019 came around, and I was like, no, I can't be having this. I need to get rid of the tobacco. So luckily, since 2019, I've not ever put tobacco in with my weed, ever. I don't smoke my weed with tobacco. But here's the thing, I didn't last crazy long with the cigarettes. I can't actually remember exactly how long I lasted. Looking back on it, I would like to say I lasted around 3 to 5 months, but to be honest, I'm probably being very generous with myself, and to be more realistic, I probably lasted about 2 months of the no cigarettes, and then I went back to smoking cigarettes, and it was kind of sad, because at the time I quit smoking cigarettes, and I was really on the mindset of, I want to stop smoking cigarettes. Like, I really don't want to smoke a cigarette anymore, and it was kind of easy for the first like week, which for most people was like the hardest point, but the nicotine addiction itself, like, proper fucked me up sometimes. Like, it was it was really messing me up. And so one day after 2 months, I was super stressed, and I ended up just caving. I ended up buying a pack of cigarettes, and I ended up dealing with my stress that way with the pack of cigarettes, because by this point of like sort of 2 months in, cigarettes had gone back to smelling how they did when I was younger, and it was giving me all these like nostalgic feelings, and then I was stressed out this day, and then I ended up just caving and buying a packet of cigarettes, which was pretty peak. And I think I was still kind of dealing with the nicotine withdrawal at that point, because I just went cold turkey. And even though I would assume after like 2 weeks or so, you wouldn't have any of that actual nicotine withdrawal, right? Like, it still kind of felt like it. I guess it was probably still more the mental thing, but it definitely felt a bit mad that day when I was stressed. I felt like I really needed a cigarette. And yeah, I ended up caving. I ended up going to the store, I ended up buying a pack of cigarettes, and ever since then, I started smoking cigarettes again. I was smoking cigarettes for years afterwards. Literally like a whole nother 4 years basically afterwards. It's 2023 now. This was 2019 when this happened. I definitely didn't make it until 2020, and I even hid it for a while. Like, I would hide it from the live streams, I'd hide it from the videos, because I'd made this video saying I was quitting tobacco. I mean, I was still halfway there because I wasn't, you know, mixing it with my bud anymore, so I was still very much staying true to that, and have the whole time to this day would never ever go back on that either. And look, smoking cigarettes again for 4 years and being fully addicted to cigarettes again for another 4 years is literally only 1 year less than I was smoking for before the first time, you know. Well, like, being properly addicted to it, I was obviously smoking longer than that, but you know, it's almost the same amount of time I was just addicted to it before I quit. And not gonna lie, it almost felt worse. It felt like the second time, it felt like I could never quit again. It almost felt like it was going to be impossible. So you know what it was that actually made me quit smoking cigarettes this time, and how I did it, and how I'm actually going to stay true with it, and I don't think I could ever go back? Weirdly enough, it was my teeth. So I know I don't really let a lot of comments get to me in that sense. Like, you know, a lot of people will write some dumb comments about me, and I don't really care for the most part, because I'm just me. Like, I'm just some guy on the internet. I don't really think too highly of myself, even though I know a lot of people on the internet think I think highly of myself, and that's where a lot of the comments come from. So I don't really care, because I know who I am. So I don't let a lot of comments get to me, right? But the one type of comment that I was letting get to me was my teeth, because I knew it was true, right? Like, hella people were commenting about my teeth, and it annoyed me because my teeth were so messed up. If you guys don't know, I don't come from money like that, right? Like, I lived in my car for many years. Like I said before, I lived in a YMCA. Sometimes I couldn't afford to buy toothpaste. I couldn't afford to buy a toothbrush when I was younger, right? Like, sometimes I was living in my car and I would lose my toothbrush, or I'd run out of toothpaste or something like that, and literally couldn't replace them. And it got to the point where my teeth were messed up. And through all the smoking and through, you know, missing the brushes and you know, having stages where I don't brush my teeth and all that, my teeth were a mess. And weirdly enough, I'm kind of blessed with straight teeth. My teeth are very straight. I've never had to have braces, never had to have any work done on them or anything like that. And because I was getting all these comments about how awful my teeth looked with the color and stuff, yeah, it was really getting to me. So I went to the dentist and I was like, look, how can I sort my teeth out, right? Like, how can I whiten them or whatever? And we basically went through a thing where they said, like, look, pay 300 quid, we can whiten your teeth. Which, as you can see, my teeth are pretty beautiful right now. I'm very, very happy with them. The caveat of doing my teeth is that I had to quit smoking cigarettes. Like, I can't smoke cigarettes while I'm doing the teeth whitening process, because it could like bring on the stain. Like, me whitening them and then smoking a cigarette could literally make them maybe not worse than they were before, but it could negate everything that I do, and then afterwards when it finishes it could make them worse than they were before, if that makes sense. It's not great, and luckily enough, smoking weed doesn't really include in that. It was just the tobacco, because obviously in cigarettes, like, there's 1,000,001 things that are much worse for your teeth than in cannabis, right? Not to say that cannabis isn't bad for your teeth, but you get what I mean. I didn't have to stop smoking cannabis, basically. It was only the cigarettes. So I had to actually stick to it. The whole 2 weeks, I was like, I have to stop smoking cigarettes. And I have to even not smoke cigarettes for another week and a half after the teeth whitening, which, you know, at that point, it's like, why would I even start again? And not only that, this time, I decided to go the nicotine patch route. And like, I've tried gum before, and I tried cold turkey, and I tried a couple other things as well, but I never tried the nicotine patches. And I'm not gonna lie, the nicotine patches really worked really well. Like, the only thing I had to get over for the first couple days was when I just naturally would want to have a cigarette. Like when you need to have a cigarette after you eat, or when you drive in, or, you know, just random times in the day where you just felt like you would normally have a cigarette. I had to get over that myself, But besides that, I had like no withdrawal, I had like no proper craving. And to be honest, the motivation for the teeth was better than the nicotine patch because every time I would really, really want a cigarette, I could just look in the mirror and look at how good my teeth were getting. And I could be like, you don't want to smoke a cigarette. They're going to make your teeth so bad. Inadvertently, I actually had to stop drinking coffee as well. And I haven't even started drinking coffee again since because I'm like, damn, if coffee really stains your teeth that bad, do I really want to start drinking coffee again? So I haven't actually drank coffee in, damn, how long's it been? So it's been about a month and a half since I quit. I think about 7 weeks. Compared to the last time when I quit that first time, this is a world of difference. I'm actually off the nicotine patches now because it got to the point where they got a bit itchy. I think because I'd been using them so much, like every day, and sometimes I'd forget to swap arms. They would get itchy and it wouldn't be very comfortable. And then a couple of days I would just wake up and I would forget to put them on. And then I'd be out, I'd suddenly remember and I'd be like, well, that's kind of it. I've just got to deal with it now. So yeah, now I'm in the situation where I'm in right now, where I'm feeling as good as I ever have been. My body's feeling amazing. I have no craving or want to smoke a cigarette. I go through my whole days not even needing one. And yeah, it's gone to the point where I do get that nostalgic smell again when like I smell somebody smoking a cigarette. It smells like how they used to smell. But I don't want to smoke a cigarette. I have no need to. I like how nice my teeth are. I like how nice my body feels. And yeah, it's just generally a good time. And I think I wanted to just make this video because I was in the position where I thought, after I tried quitting that last time and I started smoking again, I thought it was going to be impossible. I thought I was going to be smoking cigarettes until the day I die, right? And I just didn't think it could happen. And I think the real thing I realized is as long as you have some real motivating factor behind quitting the smoking, then it becomes the easiest thing in the world. Because then anytime you want to have a cigarette, all you've got to sit there and think is like, oh, I'm doing this because of this. And 5 minutes later, after I smoke that cigarette, I'm going to be the exact same person in the exact same position doing the exact same thing. The only difference is I'm going to smoke the cigarette and my health is going to be worse and my teeth is going to be worse. That's my thoughts on cigarettes right now. I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, I'll keep you guys updated if anything does change, but I think for the time being, I really don't think anything's going to change. I've been going super, super strong. That's kind of why I didn't make this video when I quit as well, because I wanted to make sure it stayed strong. I wanted to make sure my mindset was still the same, because at this point, the first time I quit, like, I was already struggling, you know? Like, right now, I don't even care. Literally doesn't even faze me. So, yeah, big appreciation for sticking around for this story. I'll be live streaming later on today on Twitch at, oh, damn. I actually don't know what time the Twitch stream is going to be. It's either going to be at 9 p.m. UK time or 11 p.m. UK time. Have to double check that with Nate. But you can also double check my Instagram story. I'm sure it'll be there. Or just check back for like 9, 11 p.m. We'll be live streaming tonight with Mr. Nature Boy. It's going to be sick. Yeah, see you guys over there. Maybe hit the subscribe button as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you doing? Because you might just watch the videos and then never click subscribe. You know, just get recommended them all the time. Hit the sub button. See you soon in a bit. Peace.